What does that mean, Doug Owen?
I don't know, Charlie McGrath.
Me? Is it me? Is it my turn?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Doomcast 81. I'm Charlie McGrath, your host and co-founder, along with Doug Owen of blacklistednews.com. It is actually, Doug, we're a day, are we a day early or 5 days late?
We're like a week late or something, I think. It's pretty nominal.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. Now let's talk about it. We came together last program that we did and said we were going to try to do a midweek one. That failed miserably last week.
Yeah.
Miserably. So we got together Sunday night, late Sunday night, and it was Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday, and we had technical issues, so it got scrapped.
Yeah,
So,
well, I was trying to do it from the Doom bunker. I thought it'd be a little bit more convenient, and I could relax a little bit better, closer to a refrigerator with adult beverages, and I mean just a lot of upside to where I had relocated the mixer and the studio.
You know what else? When you were in your new location?
What's that now?
You know what else was convenient for you in your new location?
Washing machine in the background.
You could do your laundry while you
I could do my laundry. Exactly. Yeah. So one of the problems is that all Samsung devices require 1,000 ohms of resistance on the mic line on one of the 4-pin connectors. I bought a breakout connector. I thought this was a great idea. That way I could just use the phone to talk to guests or just to have a third party. Just this, just to be able to do different things. And I thought that was one of the stopgaps from the last time the mixer, our Touch Mix 16, went down. So I said, okay, this is great. This should work just fine. And bought these connectors and had everything plugged in. And I'm like, wow, why is it still using the microphone? Now, the reason is because it doesn't have 1,000 ohms of resistance. So if I actually open up this wire.
What doesn't have 1,000? The mic?
The mic. So when you hook it up to a mixer, it sees that mixer as just an open port. Now, if there's a 1,000 ohm resistor across that wire, then it would have selected the mixer rather than trying to use the microphone on the phone or the tablet. I guess most tablets work like that. So I didn't realize that at the time. It occurred to me afterwards that there was a reason that it didn't register it, and there's no selection on a lot of these devices to use the internal or external microphone because it automatically recognizes your headset or your.
Well, I have a real stupid question that I tried to pose to you Sunday, but you were frantically trying to work out the hiccup.
Sure.
Which is right now I'm sitting in Pascal, Washington, and I'm using my Samsung with Skype though, not through my computer.
But you're
Skype
using
download.
your headset, right?
No.
Or what are you using?
Cell phone. I'm on my cell phone.
What's the microphone? What are you using?
I'm using the mic that's in my phone, my cell phone.
And so that's how it was working. It sounds like shit. That's the point. I could do that, but you're going to hear everything in the background. It doesn't. Right now, I'm running you through filters. I'm running you through gates. I'm compressing your audio. And you're hearing a compressed version of me. You're not hearing the fan in the background. You're not hearing any kind of hums. And so you have to go through that. Now, for what we're doing, because I'm doing all the production in post-production and on this end, then, you're going through a gate. So even though it might sound like crap if I turned your gate off, it sounds reasonable on this end. Whereas...
Okay, so what were you using your phone for then?
The same thing that you're using your phone for.
It's just didn't want to use the mic. You wanted to connect with the Samsung, but use the mic through the mixer.
No. Instead of having a computer running Skype, I was going to use the phone running Skype. The problem is that instead the computer knows that I want to use that mic port, and I can say, "Hey, computer, use this mic port. Use the mic in the front of the computer." That makes sense. Right. On a phone, you can't do that. You have to have 1,000 ohm resistor across that wire for it to think that it's a microphone. The problem is that it wasn't thinking that my headset, that the connector I was plugging into it, was a microphone. So it thought that I wanted to use the onboard, microphone that you're using, which I did not, because obviously it would not work that way. Well, yeah, and the audio is not coming coming through the processor to you. So you're not hearing all of the sound effects, the background music, the intro, any of that stuff. So that was the problem.
Right. It was horrible. It was a nightmare. But let me ask you this one last question. I know this is probably boring to most people, but the last question I have is: on Skype on your phone, as I'm using it right now, do I have the options in Skype, the tools in Skype that I have on my laptop? Do I have that on my phone? Like on my laptop, I can choose what mic or whatever. You're saying I cannot do that on my Samsung? You
could do that, but you couldn't just plug in a mixer to your as a microphone. You'd have to plug in an actual microphone that has 1,000 ohms of resistance.
Well, you would have to.
That's how it knows. It doesn't let you select it. That's how it knows that there's a microphone plugged into an external microphone or a headset plugged into your phone, because it sees that resistor. It sees that resistance of the microphone coil. Does that make sense? So
it does make sense.
There's like a coil in there that's just a little coil of copper wire, and when it plugs it in, it says, "Ooh," it runs a very minor amount of current through that coil, and when it sees that, it recognizes it and says, "Oh, Charlie McGrath has plugged something in."
So if I have a hands-free device, not a Bluetooth, but just a plug-in, a jack that I plug, and it's got the mic on the cord, that's irrelevant, right? It's still just feeding through the mic of the phone, or is it giving me that resistance?
It's giving you that resistance.
So a hands-free will give you the resistance, and it'll use the mic that's on the actual hands-free device itself.
Yep.
Was that an option?
Well, no, because you have to hear everything coming back through the mixer. You see, all of the audio and everything comes back through the mixer. So, yeah. I mean, I could just hook up a microphone and you could hear me, but that audio needs to go through the mixer. Your audio needs to go through the mixer, and then we have to send it out to the stream to the few people out there that are listening tonight. Hello, people. You're getting bored and inundated with this conversation. But, yeah, it's that instead of the whole deal is that
when are they just going to make this crap easy?
It's too easy. That's the problem. It's way too easy because most people wouldn't do this. And so you get to Googling around. Well, I was stuck at DMV the other night, and I was like, I should look this up. Because I realized that was the problem, that it wasn't recognizing it, and that it's either, like
that kind of stuff bugs you, don't it? You just stew on it.
Well, I just want to know how. Yeah, exactly. It does a little bit because.
Oh, I know. I can tell.
Well, I want to be able to do the show from different places, and you're always more mobile, and so. Those okay, so like you have a mute button on a lot of those that actually has a 50 ohm resistor. So if you stick 50 ohms across that wire, it'll think that you want to mute it. So that's how it does all of this function. So that's how just using your microphone / headset 4-pin jack port on all phones, that's how it knows. Samsung has a little bit different scheme of resistances, but that's
okay. Last question, and then we move on.
We move on.
Last question. Do you have a way to achieve 1,000 ohms resistance in the future if you wanted to do this?
Yeah, I'm going to probably
have to break your phone apart and do some soldering.
No, I'll have to solder a wire, yeah.
That's what I figured. Well,
there might be a market for that. We might be able to find either a jack for that or make one and sell it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm
not the only person that wants to run I'm not the only. I mean, because it's simple. I'm using the phone to run the music and the sound effects. So to record with it should be pretty simple too. And it is not sometimes. So it just irritates you. Although this isn't working very well today either. But that's life. Yeah. Breaking news.
Is the audio bad here coming into you?
What, from you?
Yeah. It's probably my voice.
It's fine. What are you doing in Washington? You're selling stuff to people, or people getting stuff?
Oh my God, you're hostile.
I'm just tired of talking about this because people are like, "Who cares? Who cares?" Because as much as I enjoy and care about audio, I'm even getting bored with it. So,
well, it's interesting to me because we sat there for an hour trying to make it work and it wouldn't. So obviously,
1,000 ohms of resistance was needed, and we did not have it. That's the crux.
Give us the 1,000 ohms news break.
Too bad Radio Shack is closing. You could get a resistor there. I've got 1,000 ohm resistors actually there, 4284. But yeah, it is a shame because there's so many. I've got a bag full of Radio Shack stop gaps, and it was always. I don't know if it's actually going to close. It's pretty wild. They're actually paying people using derivatives and what's left of them. So the Radio Shacks aren't all closed, but they're bankrupt, which just means that they don't have to pay back their vendors. Whoever.
That's exactly right. you're 100% on the money. And you know, it's funny. I worked with a guy for years who was a manager in, I believe he finished his career in Butte, Montana. And he, as a manager,
that guy in Butte, the guy in the Radio Shack at Butte.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember him.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
I was just telling you the story because he had he was very wealthy because at the time he had all of his stock was in Tandy Corporation or Radio Shack.
Oh wow.
And
what year was this? 1982. Tandy. Wow.
Tandy. It was Tandy when he came to us, and that was in 19. Shut your face. How about that?
That's a long time ago, my friend. Tandy.
How about 1990,000 ohms resistance?
It's pretty old. Not too many kids know what a resistor is anymore.
I got a capacitor and I got a resistor. I know the flow of my electricities.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exciting stuff.
Anyway, he had all of his stock, and he was technically a millionaire because the stock was doing very well. And I meant to call him recently to find out if he got out while the getting out was good. And so anyway, this story's
he drank himself to death after he lost all of his Tandy money.
Probably. I used to call him Wild Bill. I borrowed Wild Bill's chainsaw once because I shot an elk. Actually, me and my brother-in-law shot 2 elk, 6-point bulls, 500 miles away from any kind of road. And I borrowed his chainsaw so we could drag sleds in there to pull these animals out. And we were so exhausted by the time the trip was over. It was about an 18-hour day that I forgot his chainsaw. I was how tired I was. I left it on the side of a mountain. So he calls me Chainsaw Charlie because I had to buy him a new one. And I call him Wild Bill, the chainsaw guy.
Your stories get better and better every episode. I'm telling you.
Are you making fun?
I left a chainsaw after we killed some mooses. Yeah, I love you.
You shut your face. I've had a very long 2 days, my friend.
I'm telling you.
And I'm going to tell producer Craig, I think he's in the chat room. Is he in the chat room?
He might be. I'm not sure. There are a few people in there. One I'd like to say hello to, the side girl. Hello.
Hey. Holla. So, Craig, I'm not in Seattle. I'm in Pasco, and I'm getting up at 5 to drive back to Seattle. But I have a 2:45 flight. So once again, the Craig and Charlie go grab something to eat date has been foiled.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
So what have you been following? What have you been into? What have you been ranting on? Well, have you been doing any videos?
February gone all the entire month. I think I did one video in February, and so far in March, here I am, Doug. I'm in Washington doing Bigfoot stuff, which for those in the know, for those hardcore Wide Awake News followers or Doomcast followers, that is a product that we sell nationally. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 months is out here, selling our wares. So I've been following a lot of the oil news because Canada is a big market for us. And in the last week, I've had 15 phone calls from Canada from customers who are all pretty much freaking out.
About what?
Well, if you look at Alberta and Saskatchewan, and even British Columbia, not as too big of an extent as the Western provinces, but they're driven on oil. And a lot of that oil is tar sands and shale and fracking. And, regardless how you feel about it, a lot of people are making, living wages, good higher upper and middle class jobs in Canada and in, some states in central.
I feel like it's kind of like the people that cry because we don't kill enough people because they're making great money at Boeing. We need to kill some more people. ISIS has been doing good. Actually, the U.S. is now the number one exporter, once again, of weaponry. And
Stop interrupting.
You don't feel like that? You don't think that, like people are like, oh, man, we need to frack more. We need to make more radioactive water for our kids to drink because I'm making 6 figures, buddy.
You said that that argument is the same as people who are wanting more war.
You don't think so?
No, because Doug, I guarantee you.
I think it's actually worse because war just kills the people today. There are people on the ground and they're already born, they're already here. So I mean, those people are already going to die regardless. And this might sound weird, but those people are already, you're dead, I'm dead, we're all dead. we're here.
Before you get it twisted,
but
I'm not all about the fracking, but I am about
the tar sands is just almost as bad, if not worse.
Sure.
And then I would say how many people that I don't know. I mean, and I'm not like a virulent green energy guy, but how many people get bombed on those bomb trains? You know, they get blown away, and they're like, well, you know, it's no big deal because, you know, there's people in Canada making a lot of money. It's just kind of the same argument, right?
No, not at all.
So you don't think that that's a big issue?
No, I don't think it's the same argument. I don't think it's the same argument.
You don't think it's just as bad? How about that? Maybe not the same argument, but just as bad, if not worse.
I'm not going to say that because it's not just as bad or just worse. And here's why.
Is it because you profit from it?
So do you, Doug Owen, electrician.
I do not profit from the oil industry, shale, or from Canadian tar sands. I do not. If I do, I would like to know about it because I need to pick up my check.
We're talking energy in general. And I'm talking every person in this country and in the world, virtually every person in the world is engaged in some kind of use of energy. And that's my point. Not everybody on this planet or in this country is sitting here, you know, waiting for another war to break out, some more Hellfire missiles.
You don't think so? You don't think that everybody profits from that? You don't think that you're getting a chunk of change from the good old government that's profiting off of war?
No, I don't.
Last time you went to a trade show, they had government roofs there. Come on.
They had a government
you have
to
admit to yourself that it's just as evil, just as bad, and it's just the same. It's the same old.
And you're the same Doug Owen. You're the same Doug Owen that 3 weeks ago, 3 Doomcasts ago, we're singing the praises of $2 gasoline and how you liked it.
Well, everybody loves it, except for the people that don't love it.
You're profiting. You're using.
I'm not profiting that much. I don't drive that much. I mean, see that's the thing. It's that. Oh well, you know, you're profiting from it. I'm really not. And people that are, you know, and like I said,
engaged in energy than you think. I mean, I figured you would know that already. Everybody,
but I don't care. I'm not vested. If somebody said, "Hey, Doug, you know what? You're gonna have to use more natural gas than oil," I'd be fine with that.
That's not the argument you were making. You were saying people that were talking about cheap energy are the same as people who want more.
I know people that say, you know, that I've got a buddy of mine, his grandfather retired from Raytheon. Okay, so you know when Raytheon's doing bad, his grandfather's not getting the same amount of money, and he's like, "Oh man, Raytheon, you know, they need to get some new contracts."
All right,
well, how do they get
it down?
It's the same
Let's
thing.
break it down. 312 million people in the United States of America. Your buddy and his extended family or friends of family happen to be in the military-industrial complex. But what percentage of the country is directly involved in Raytheon or Boeing or any of these other military-industrial companies versus how many people in this country use energy?
No. This is different. You're saying you're people that profit from it, economies that are built on it, people that need it. You need to export shale for money. That's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. These people need war. They need insecurity so that they can provide security. It's just like, you know, those people out there. It's not just, you know, them pulling oil out of the ground. They need people like me to drive more. They need people in other countries to import more. Canada needs to export more. It's the same thing. It's the need for something to profit for yourself.
Okay.
No.
You could call it a profit-driven industry, which obviously it is.
I was about to say it's not that I call it that. That's what it is.
It's sure, but the impact it has on modern life in the quote civilized world is it's unreplaceable and it's unfathomable and it's absolutely dominating every person you know's life. Even the Raytheon guy, even the schmo who's, you know, going and working in a copper mine or whatever, and everybody in between, all you're using energy every single day.
Right, but okay, so if I'm here in Austin, we use nuclear energy from the South Texas Nuclear Power Project. Now, how much of that is driven by oil? I don't know. I don't know how much oil it costs to or uses to create nuclear power.
Okay.
The point is that you're saying, well, I need all this electricity, and that's what I'm using. We are nuclear powered here tonight on the broadcast.
Yeah, nuclear powered electricity, heating up water, driving a steam turbine. Yeah, you're using electricity. I don't understand the point.
You're talking about energy. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of energy, and some people, there was a boom, and people made a lot of money off of fracking and shale, and people were just fine before that. I guess That's what I don't understand, is that people, they get caught thinking, well, it's the end of the world because this market's gone. That's what happens, unless you have the government, unless you have the Federal Reserve buying stocks, creating booms and bust cycles, which they are. You're not going to be protected. The markets, all of that is going to affect, where you're at.
You're not getting any argument out of me on that. And you're not getting any argument out of me on destructive energy extraction techniques and how they're sold as absolutely harmless. So you're not getting an argument out of me on that, but you are getting an argument that people who talk about lower cost energy or the access to affordable energy is the same people who are praying for more war because it stimulates their local economy because there's a Boeing plant in Seattle.
They are if they're in Canada and their whole economy is based off of shale oil or whatever, tar sands. Those people are. Those people are. Not everybody is invested in tar sands. You're tired. You're engaging in a logical fallacy. You're talking about the people that profit off of tar sands. I'm saying the same amount of people that profit off of tar sands are the same amount of people that profit off the military-industrial complex. Probably millions.
I beg to differ, Doug.
You know how many people work at Lockheed Martin? You know how many people work at Boeing? You know how many people work for Skunk Works? You know how many people? I mean, I could just go on and on and on.
A million? 10 million? How many?
Probably about 10 million, I bet.
Okay. No, I don't. It doesn't matter. Pick a number. Pick 25 million.
Okay. That's how. But you're now not customers, not the people that get the bombs. I'm talking about the people that are profiting from those companies.
Pick any number you want to, and tell me that they're directly tied to the war industry, and that is absolutely true. That's true. But your number is minuscule compared to the people who use energy in this country every day.
Right. We're not talking about users. We're talking about the extractors. See, this is the difference. You're talking about the consumer of the product. I'm talking about the people that bring you the product. I'm talking about the creator. Those are the people that you were saying the whole economy is based around tar sands. And I'll leave it at this. If you don't see the difference, then it's fine. Maybe people think I'm wrong. Okay. The difference is the people that create an industry around the tar sands that depend on me, the customer, are the same people that create weapons that rely on people that are customers, like governments that are fighting ISIS. It's the same kind of scenario. That's all I was making a point, is that people profit off of.
How are you whoring your desires in order to facilitate your life that you have? I mean, what do you do? What are you praying for that is making your life possible? Because basically, nothing. I mean, that's what you're saying. These people that are in.
There's nothing that I have to make my life possible.
Well, you probably got to go to work every day.
Well, everybody does.
Yeah, and guess what? They're using energy to do it. They're filling up their tanks.
They are using energy. They're not creating energy. They're not profiting from the energy. They're not vested in it. That's the point.
You're vested in energy. That's what I'm telling you. You get up in the morning.
You don't get the difference between I'm talking about the producer, not the user. Okay. The producer hopes, the people that are invested in the producer hope that the users are going to use it. Okay. The producer and the user are two different people, right? There's people that sell stuff and there's people that buy stuff. Okay, you're talking about the people that sell stuff. You're talking about the people that sell stuff are upset about the price. What I'm telling you is that just like the military-industrial complex, it's the people that sell stuff, missiles, oil, whatever it is. They want more war, just like the people that sell shale oil or are invested in tar sands want more customers to buy oil. It's very simple. This is not a complicated situation or just debate here.
10 minutes of debate and walking over the top of me to
it's because you don't understand what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying here. You're not seeing the differential.
Changing your story. And yeah, I probably am not hearing half what you're saying because you jump in as I'm talking. So of course I'm not going to hear that. But that's not what the conversation was. We were talking about Canada. And right. I was talking about Saskatchewan, I was talking about Alberta, and I was talking about British Columbia.
And those people are worried because they produce oil, right?
As you talk over the top of me, as they're all freaking out because they have been in an energy boom, and now that directly affects the construction industry, which is the phone calls I've been getting for the last week. That's what I was. That's right, the path I was
because they
going.
Are the ones that profit from it. I get it, Charlie. I agree with you. the only reason I'm running over you is because you're repeating yourself. I'm telling you, I understand what you're saying, man. I get it.
You are absolutely refusing to listen to reason, Doug Owen.
No, I'm not. I don't care that people. Okay, there was a lot of people I knew. Okay, like my buddy's mom. She was making hand over fist on Beanie Babies. Remember the Beanie Babies?
Raytheon connection. Okay.
No, my buddy's mom was selling Beanie Babies on eBay, and these things were like, they were so valuable. People loved these effing things. Okay.
Okay.
And then one day the market dropped out. Nobody cared about a Beanie Baby, and she had a whole garage full of Beanie Babies, and the industry died because people didn't give a crap about Beanie Babies, or something else came along, something cheaper, better, funner, cooler, whatever it was. I don't even know. But then one day that market died, and she had to find a new job.
Well, now you've taken the argument from energy, which is what we started with. Then we drew the correlation to the military-industrial complex. Now we're at Beanie Babies. I
was just saying that there's always a business that's around an industry, and when that industry goes away, when it doesn't make as much profit,
let me make this point,
then it sucks.
Let me make a point, and let's move on.
Okay.
There's no industry that you can bring up, that you can bring to this discussion. Mm-hmm. There's no industry that has an effect on everyone the way the energy industry does, regardless if you like it or not. You know, you could even make the point that the energy industry is why we have a military-industrial complex in the first place going after resources around the world. My argument is, I don't care about the Beanie Baby or the guy who works at Raytheon. I'm telling you, if energy affects every aspect of our market. I don't care if you're in the medical industry or if you're in the building industry. I don't care if you're on Wall Street. I don't care if you're a politician. Energy is directly related to that industry or to your way of life. And there's nothing that you can say that can change that, because you're going to get up tomorrow and take your GPS rigged van to work, and you're going to work on diodes that have energy running through them. Then you're going to come home and it's going to be a little warm. So you're going to fire up your air conditioner. And everything you do from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed at night is going to require the use of energy.
Right.
So naturally, it's going to have a larger impact than Beanie Babies or tulip bulb bubbles or the military-industrial complex.
The Tulipesian revolution. Sure.
Yeah.
But, tar sands are not big here where I live. That's not how people are getting oil. Tar sands are, last resort. Oil has to be very, very expensive for that to be a viable, in the market. And so energy is diverse in the fact that, yes, I agree that energy affects everybody, but the price of gas doesn't necessarily correlate, because a lot of that's local or, statewide or even, countrywide, distributed, So here, right. Nuclear energy might, take up 90% of or provide 90% of the energy that we have coming into our homes. Does the price of tar sand oil, or the oil price directly affect that? Maybe a little bit, but not as much as it maybe affects people in Canada that, are stimulating their economy and building economies around that. And that's, you're seeing that. I mean, North Dakota, you have these boom towns, people that just ran, and they're like, dude, I can make $150,000 driving a truck. I have a friend of mine that was, because fracking.
Not another friend.
Not another friend. It's he works for Slumberjay. Familiar?
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
We've talked about Slumberjay, but anyway, I mean, they laid off 9,000 people. So, did that affect him? Sure, it did, because of the price of oil. So people are affected by the price of oil. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but c'est la vie. What can you do? Sorry.
Well, the company I work for sent about $15 million to the oil patch last year in different goods and wares. So I'm extremely aware of what's going on in North Dakota, Eastern Montana, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and in fact, if you think you're not related, you don't think you have a connection to that, yet you do, and you don't even realize it, because you don't have $2 gallon gas going into your car right now. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for this onslaught of production. That I agree with you.
Maybe it was because the Saudi Arabians wanted to punish Vladimir Putin for helping Bashar al-Assad.
Yeah, that isn't the case.
That's what the Saudis said. So you don't think that that's true?
No, I don't necessarily subscribe to the kingdom's point of view. I do believe that
you don't think that they dumped it on the market to go after frackers and to make sure that they're keeping their market share of the oil?
That's not the same thing as punishing. That's not the same thing as punishing Russia.
That's what they said.
That would be more inclined. That would be more inclined with punishing America, Doug.
Why punishing America? It's good. It's good for us.
No, it absolutely is. Are you kidding me?
I think it's great.
Saudi Arabia said they were going to war against fracking and against oil sands and against shale oil.
Good.
That's why they wanted the market with cheap. Yes.
I want the pollution over there, not in my backyard. So I don't care. I mean, I hate to say that, but I'm actually happy to say that. Good. Take your fracking to the Ukraine, wherever. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden can frack the F out of that place.
Here's me trying to get the point across, which is you think that what's happening in North Dakota and in southern Canada doesn't affect you in Austin, Texas. Well,
I do think it affects me, but only not nearly as much as it affects other people. I mean, maybe a tenth of the cost of my electricity bill, maybe a percentage, but not nearly. I'm not invested.
A year and a half ago.
What's that?
What were you paying for a gallon of gas a year ago?
$3.25.
What you pay for it now?
$2.20.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because
awesome and pumping oil?
Because the Saudi Arabians have pumped so much onto the market that it has affected the.
Yes. Why? Why are they doing it?
I already said why I think that they have. You disagree with it? It's fine.
Punish Russia? No. There's. I can send you 3 links to stories right now that talk about the coming oil war. Saudi Arabia increasing production to battle fracking and to battle the shale. There's a glut of oil on the planet, 700,000 plus barrels a day, glut. So that increase in production is why you have $2 gas.
Okay.
So you do have.
Okay, good. I'm glad we have a glut of gas. I was scared about peak oil.
If I was in Austin right now,
I think it's great, man. I mean, I'm sorry for people that have vested themselves and built into booms. I've seen booms and bust cycles. Sorry, my bad. Or you're bad. I hope your next venture works out well. I hope that you have saved your boom money and all those hundreds of thousands of dollars that you made, and you put them into something that's going to give you a return. Maybe you invested in some real estate
that'll always hold it.
Haiti. I hope you didn't do what most of the people that I know in the oil fields do, and that is spend it all on coke and hookers. I hope that didn't happen for you, or really here it's meth. And no, the people that made all that money, that boomed in that boom cycle, they made tons of money. You've now joined the ranks of people like my buddy's mom, who made a hell of a lot of money off of Beanie Babies. You lived it up. God. You lived it up. It was a good time. Okay, you're gonna toast it. You're gonna remember it. You're gonna look back to those times and you say, "Remember the good old days when we made $400,000 a year because we were fracking the F out of this place." It was a good time. You enjoyed it. You had fun. It's over. Figure it out.
I don't think it's over. We got cheaper energy now. I mean, I don't think there's any question.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Saudi Arabia. One of the few things I appreciate that probably came from Saudi Arabia. 9/11. I can think of a lot of other things that have come from Saudi Arabia.
I would agree 9/11 came from there, but once again, I would disagree that the cause of Saudi Arabia.
It just sounds like it's a sour grapes thing that people we don't. It's so bad. We're not making all the money we were making.
I don't know who you were talking about.
The people that you're talking about, the people that are crying to you that they're not making any money anymore.
No one's crying to me.
I thought you said that there's been people calling you and saying that they're not making any money and they're worried about it. Blah blah blah. That's the.
You just let me know when I can go ahead and deliver a sentence.
Go ahead. I'll deliver it. Is that not true? I mean, I'm just asking.
No, I don't think I mocked anyone calling me crying and
no,
whining.
You said that people were calling and complaining about the price.
I said that I was getting calls from Canadian customers their business is down because of the price of oil.
Right.
And that's what started this whole conversation.
Right. They're upset because they are not making as much profit as they were.
You know what? That's the thing. In your mind, you're thinking I'm talking to the exec of some fracking company, and I'm not. I'm talking to the building industry.
They're not even it's the same
they're
thing.
Not even directly.
Right? Is it not? They're the ones profiting, building buildings for these companies? I mean, I don't get it.
A minute ago, you're talking about profits from energy companies, and I'm trying to tell you that everything is attached to energy.
Right.
Now you want to make that same argument back to me and say, aren't these companies profiting because of cheap energy? you're using exactly what I just said to you 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. I'm just trying to summate what you said, and I thought that that's where we're going with this, that people are down and out. They're not making the money that they were. They're not getting the same kind of returns.
They should all quit crying. I hope they save their hundreds of thousands in the energy market.
Right, I do. But...
and they invest in Beanie Babies because it's the next biggest thing. And my uncle works at Raytheon, and we're going to bomb the hell out of Saudi Arabia. I never liked them anyway. 9/11. Never forget.
I mean, I'm sorry. Big deal. I mean, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Big deal.
Well, I don't know if you think it's a big deal or not. And frankly, it doesn't matter if you think it's a big deal or not. I'm trying to tell you why I was getting calls from Canada and what I'm out here doing. And you asked me what I've been following, and I'm following the price of oil because I'm seeing it have a direct effect on the economy in Canada, which 2 years ago was absolutely on fire and doing far better in the building industry than we are now. And now I'm seeing a complete turnaround. So it's just giving you an analysis of what and why. So From there, you're drawing connections to all kinds of ridiculousness that it doesn't, I mean, that isn't even the same ballpark. It's not even the same universe. We're talking Beanie Babies and Hellfire missiles, and even all that shit together doesn't mean anything compared to the energy market, compared to how it affects everything that we do. And maybe it'd be better if it didn't, if we went back to 200 years ago and pre-industrial revolution, and the planet would be a lot better people. There'd only be about 500 million of us, but we wouldn't have to be worried about the price of oil.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about it really. I mean, I don't profit or lose too much with a dollar either way, personally. So
wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I just made my case that here we have a lot of diverse investments. What were we doing 3 years ago before that? Or 10 years ago?
You took more of your disposable income and you put it into your gas tank. I think I could go back to like Doomcast 78 and hear you say those exact words.
It's true.
That you're loving. I'm loving it. I'm saving $50 a tank or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean that money's going to food. Okay, it's going. If you like beef, it's going there. So it's not that we're actually making more money. You're just putting it into other things.
You're saying that you don't profit enough from it. And I'm saying you do. You absolutely do. And you're gonna pay, and if it goes back up to $100 a barrel, then I'm not taking a side on this either way. I mean, if the price of diesel goes up, we have 27 semi-tractor trailers. When it's down like this, we make more money on transport. If it goes up, we lose money. I mean, it all equals out. But the whole point is the price of oil is absolutely going to affect the planet more than any other industry you can put before you. Any other industry you can bring to the table is not going to be as influential on the global scene, politically, geopolitically, militarily, whatever. None of it is going to be as powerful as the industry of energy.
Well, I'll tell you that. I mean, if you look at what's happening in Venezuela, we now have a new executive order. And now Venezuela is a unique threat to U.S. security. So if you look at a lot of these countries, especially Russia and Ukraine, in the Middle East, you see waning political power because of the cost of oil, because of the investment in oil, and it is definitely reeling. So I don't disagree with you that energy prices do have a global effect, even even beyond U.S. domestic, probably even more so elsewhere than even here. So, I don't disagree with you. I just think that it affects other people more. If you're in Canada and you're in one of these places where it was a huge amount of growth and this, even goes beyond that. You have this growth, and then of course you have the growth of government, the growth of a tax base. Then people start getting, hey, look, we got all these projections. We're going to have way more tax money. Let's start building stuff. Let's start doing this. And then when you have that sudden contraction, then oh crap, we are overinvested. We are in too much debt. I mean, that's one of the big aspects of the fracking bubble that a lot of people aren't really following. I have been quite a bit with Mike Shedlock. He has been looking at a lot of these smaller companies, and they are the ones that were leveraged 2, 3, 4, 5 times over because of the price of oil. And now these companies are just, reeling because they, just like all of those, very similar anyway to the companies that were invested in real estate prior to the housing boom or bust, 2008 bust. They were just so over leveraged. So you do see the implications happening in Venezuela, especially in Russia and across the Middle East. And so, I'm not disregarding what you're saying. I'm just saying that for the U.S., most of the people here, because we do have such a diverse investment in types of energy and in exports, that we aren't nearly as affected as others.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't think so? I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We only have wars going throughout the energy producing regions of the world and have been for over a decade and a half, and are tied at the hip with energy, wrongfully so, I agree. But yeah, energy affects everything. It is the reason why we have all the naval forces floating around the world. It's why we have the advertisements for covering 70% of the world 100% of the time. Energy is the reason for all the bullcrap that we see going on in Eastern Ukraine and Eastern Europe, what we see going on in Libya, what we see going on in Syria, what we see going on in Iraq and Afghanistan and Iran. It's all about energy. At the end of the day, energy. We're not looking for new routes to the Far East, the silk trade. It's energy. And Venezuela's got it. They're using it in a way that the powers that be do not like. So, of course, they're in the crosshairs. And they're going to continue to be until they're no longer an energy-producing country. And guess what they become then? They become a third world nobody's ever heard about. Why? Because we have examples of that all over this planet. If they don't have oil, if they don't have resources, we don't care if they hack each other up with machetes all day long. But if they got energy, we got to go in and do the right thing and spread democracy.
That's right.
I don't like it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's why when the price of oil is low, I'm happy, because that gives us less reasons to go and kill people, and then that sells less Raytheon missiles.
Well, unless you want to use the argument that we got to destroy the countries who are helping make a low oil price, so that means we'd have to go after Saudi Arabia here pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're working with Saudi Arabia. They're friends, allies, above the law.
How about Hillary Clinton and the letter?
What letter?
The letter the Republicans wrote to Iran.
Oh, I'm not familiar. Please enlighten me.
I didn't think this just happened today, but maybe it did. In my drive between Seattle and Pasco, 70 plus Republicans came together and wrote an open letter to the leadership of Iran, saying that no matter what kind of a deal Obama in this administration put forth as far as their nuclear program, it is destined to be overturned by the next administration and or would not be valid if not endorsed and backed and voted on and approved by Congress.
So basically they're trying to tell them that, any one of these nuclear deals that you work out with the Obama administration is null and void. Don't worry about, or, don't get excited because we're just going to void that.
Well, I said the number wrong. It was 47 Republican senators. So half of the Senate basically said, send a letter to, is it Ahmadinejad still? Send a letter to Iran saying,
no, it's
make whatever deal you want. We're not going to honor it.
And I think that this is, kind of the last throes of the Anglo New World Order's power, the unipolar world, because, the U.S. doesn't get to make those decisions any longer, or not for too much longer. We're already seeing Italy, Germany, Europe fracturing over the support for the U.S. because of Russia. Russia has nuclear weapons. Russia is now moving forward with Egypt, helping them with their nuclear peaceful wink. And this is the thing. People are like, see, the Mossad said that Netanyahu was wrong and Iran's not going to make a weapon. I don't see why they wouldn't make a weapon. If I was Iran, okay, I would make a weapon if I could, or I'd buy one from Russia. And if we continue to push Russia, I don't see what would stop them from arming Iran to the teeth. There was that debate back in the 50s, 60s about these talks that we had with North Korea. We had the talks and blah, blah, blah. And if you look at it, all of those talks, everything that the U.S. didn't matter, and North Korea just ended up one day with, by the way, we have a nuclear weapon. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Saudi Arabia. One day, in the next few years, you're going to hear Khomeini say, look, we got a weapon. We got one, and maybe the Russians have helped them. Maybe they haven't. And I think that's really the shadow war, the covert action that's going on, the releasing of viruses like Stuxnet. And that's really what, we're seeing the ground troops in the Middle East, fighting ISIS. But I think that's really where
you can't. I got to say this carefully, but how can you fault? Is that even the right phrase? How can you fault Iran for wanting one? I mean,
no, you shouldn't. I mean, that means you get a seat at the big table. That means you get to talk, and that means you're not going to be invaded. And you have
exactly, yeah, exactly right. I mean, you could be demonized by the global community, as it were. But the truth is what it is, and that is, if you're a nuclear armed nation, you're not going to have to worry about the U.S. rolling in there spreading democracy. They're not going to do it. And so it seems, if for self-preservation, and again, not an apologist for Iran or North Korea or any other, Pakistan or any other India new nuclear armed nation, but you can certainly see the reasons why. I mean, we talk a great game, right? We talk a great game about spreading peace and democracy and weapons of mass destruction, and we want global harmony. Yeah, and it's pretty easy to do when you're sitting on the number 2 nuclear arsenal on the planet, and your actions are always counterintuitive to your words. And that's what I see the West, namely the mouthpiece of the military, us. That's what we do. We talk about peace and harmony and democracy and freedom and liberty, and everywhere we go, we spread something completely different, and death and destruction. So when they talk about the evil empire, the axis of evil, maybe they are evil. I mean, maybe these despots want to march people into gullies and shoot them down, but they're not blind. They can look around the world and see what keeps the U.S. From getting across their borders, and that's nukes. So, just like in any other game you'd play, you'd want to have the tools for the game.
Yeah, I don't fault them either. I think that is something
and shoot them.
That's going to be a reasonable expectation. And I don't think that they're going to blow Israel off of the map. And Israel has nuclear weapons themselves. So, and they
estimated 300.
Yeah, I've heard 400. But
you
know what? We don't know, because they're the one country that does not have to show, because they're above the law, they don't have to show their nukes to the IAEA. So the big problem I think that we have in the Middle East is that there's a lot of hypocrisy, and there's a lot of, well, we're better than that, and we hold certain people to account, but there are definitely rules that apply to some countries that other countries are able to skirt. And until we have some kind of equity in that, you're never going to have peace. You're never going to have any kind of legitimacy for what we do. And, well, by and large, I think that's why we do this show, because we see through that, and we see the obvious problems that the U.S. and our policy and, the allies that we keep, being no better or worse than the people that we decide are bad guys that we need to kill. Yeah. So. Yeah,
and it's hard to be in the situation of Israel and not think, well, they might not even be wrong about if some zealots and extremely religious sect of Islam became not just religious, but onerous, became to have nuclear weapons. Would they use them? And I think that I think that's a simple answer. Yeah, but there's people who are going to try to achieve mass destruction through any means that they can get their hands on. So I don't think the argument that
maybe the U.S. should stop arming all of these zealots to to fight Hezbollah.
I agree with that.
I mean, and this is the reality of the situation, is that when you talk about these religious, zealot, crazy people, these are the same people the Saudi Arabian governments have, Saudi Arabian and other Middle Eastern governments have engendered. They have supported financially, militarily, because they don't want them conducting attacks on their own land. So basically, it's a payoff, but they want them to fight Hezbollah. So who fights Hezbollah? Radicals, crazies, nutbags. And the U.S. has a long history, and so does Israel, of funding those groups to go after groups that they don't like Hezbollah, like Hamas. And some of the fruits are that you now have groups that are, well, by some people's estimation, under U.S. influence, like ISIS, that are a big nuisance and a big problem to their neighbors, to people in the regions, but not to Israel. I mean, they seem to love Israel, and Israel's actually been providing material support and medical support for many of these fighters because they are fighting who? Bashar al-Assad. So,
right. Exactly.
I
agree with that.
Go ahead.
I mean, and we're talking about zealots, and Saudi Arabia is supposed to be the poster child for Arab nations. And let's face it. I mean, their kingdom, their vast, rich history was Bedouin until the Industrial Revolution, and that's what they would be today if it wasn't for the fact that they live on a sea of oil. But they're as radical as any other nation in that region, including Iran, including Iraq, including Syria, including Yemen. I mean, while you were talking, I just typed up Saudi law cut offhand, and there's 50 videos where I can go look at Sharia law and its glory in happening in Saudi Arabia. Women being caned and guys getting their hands chopped off, and barbaric. They're barbarians. That's what they are, with money. Barbarians with money.
Yeah, I mean, we support a lot of barbarians just a few hundred miles off of our border in Mexico and South America that like to hack people up. And, that's going to be the big shift. Now that Mexico has allowed for the privatization of oil, talk about energy wars, of course, the repercussion is going to be that we're going to probably have more military commandos, more military presence, and strategic interest in Mexico. And of course, because you said it, when there are oil wells, there are military contractors there to protect them. And so this is, I mean, that's where there's just a ton of energy. And this is probably going to be the new shift, because there's not a lot of regulation or really any kind of oversight that's going to be happening there, legitimate oversight. You have a corrupt quasi faux democracy that is there. And, we're going to probably have more ISIS down there. We're going to have probably more problems and terrorists. And, whenever there's people there that are exploiting the local citizenry, you're going to have people that are blowing these pipelines up, that see them as the axis of evil. And so I think that's going to be the next big boom town. They're going to be going from North Dakota straight down to Mexico. A really interesting piece that I published the other day on that. I wish I could pull it up. I didn't know that we would be talking about oil wars, but
oil war. Sorry, I'm watching videos of people getting their hands chopped off.
It's like gross. Potato chips. It's so fun to watch. Mexico oil.
You don't want to? I mean, oh my God, this guy's doing this for. I'm changing subject. I'm gonna ask you: have you ever heard of an individual named Michael X. Rose?
No.
I'm gonna read this description to you. Wail in hideous lamentation as Michael X. Rose has his hand chopped off by the notorious Committee for Public Safety. Please support my new film, Bloodlust, of the Druid Overlords.
I like the name. I like. Sounds compelling.
I'm gonna send you this video. I don't know if it's fake. It doesn't look fake. Oh my God, it's not fake.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
I mean, I think the point really was that as appalled as people act by, oh my God, I cannot believe that they're putting children in cages and setting them on fire. I think most of those videos, if you really scrutinize them, number one, all come from one place. This lady named Rita Katz, this Jewish lady that runs this place called SiteNet. If you're not familiar, every one of the Jihadi John videos, you'll find their little logo there. So I think that that's pretty suspect in and of itself. But the videos, even experts working at the State Department have said many of these are fake and they're used for propaganda. I saw an article today about ISIS being they now have some kind of ADA compliant deal to help people that are deaf and mute to become members of the ISIS jihad. And I'm like, okay, wait, okay, this is just too much. I can't believe anything anymore.
Yeah. Is there videos of? I mean, I saw the video of the airman, or I should say, the soldier, that was lit on, or whatever, the prisoner, the adult. Are they posting videos now of kids lighting people on fire?
Well, there was one of a kid killing some Israeli soldier. You said earlier, right?
No, not that did I say that? I didn't say that.
I saw that earlier. There was an ISIS video that came out.
Well, I believe you.
Let me just look in my feed here.
Propaganda videos.
Yeah, there's so much of it. It's just it's overwhelming. It's become, it's a new brand. Let's see, new brand of everything. It was on RT actually. ISIS executes 4 men for homosexuality. Let's see. ISIS has Anonymous in its crosshairs, so now they're fighting Anonymous. Russia now the greatest threats alongside ISIS to UK security. Trick of the eye.
Whoa, where's that from? Is that from RT?
That one is,
Russia.
yeah. RT headlines. Britain's speaking at a Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, on Tuesday morning, Philip Hammond said no one could confidentially and accurately predict the causes of further security threats, but security agencies must have the capacity to effectively monitor causes for concern. That means, the dragnet of in taking over of social media and the internet, pretty much. He says the single greatest threat, Foreign Secretary said, Russia's intensive modernization of its military capability was a cause for concern, likening it to the behavior of Cold War tactics. And I always think it's hilarious that, oh my God, they are developing new weapons. That is very concerning. When you look at how much money, time, the vast amounts of money that the U.S. spends on developing new weapons, new capabilities every day. I was just watching a video of the new Lockheed Martin laser. Have you seen this thing? They got a new chemical laser, a 30 kilowatt laser. From a few miles away, they can burn a hole in an engine in a car. And you're like, well, whoa. We're when you look at what Russia has, they've got, what they have is a hardened population of people, hundreds of thousands of men that are willing to go to war, in a ground war, that are tough as that would be, that are trained with AK-47s and other, Russian type military equipment. I think the U.S. has less than 200,000 active military. We've got a lot of contractors. Maybe even if you put all of the U.S. and European forces together, private and NATO, less than 1 million. And when you look at how many ground troops Russia has, I think it's well over that. Anyway, so what they lack in maybe some of the high-tech, sophisticated weaponry that we're developing, and now that they're moving towards, and China's moving towards, they have in Ruskies. And when you see these videos of the troops in Ukraine, you realize these are some tough SOBs that are, sitting around eating beef jerky all day long and
popping pain pills and eating beef jerky.
Yeah, they're probably all, they probably have government crystal meth to keep them awake at night. It's a whole different type of war. It's a whole different type of military, and it includes the majority of the population. We don't have compulsory service here. In Germany, you don't have a choice. You have to join the military. In Israel, you have to join the military. A lot of European countries, you have to join the military. There's compulsory service. I'm not sure about in Russia, but the long short of it is that they are the new boogeyman. They were the old boogeyman, and when you have this, you have purpose once again for the Russians and for the U.S. And I think that, I don't know how much of it's contrived. A lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, but I think there's a notable amount of academics that think that this is just another way to keep America and Russia both, driving forward. That you always have to have some kind of bad guy. That
I think that can probably be proven. You have to keep you have to keep the pedal down if you're one of your main industries is war. I mean, you have to do it, and you have to have a foe that you can keep your populace questioning these kind of expenditures and this kind of debt and this kind of carnage.
Sure.
If there isn't a bad guy or a boogeyman, then how are you going to justify that? So
look at the capital controls that Russia's instituting. I mean, a total breakdown and draconian new laws to censor free speech. You're seeing the same thing kind of taking shape here, where they're trying to subtly take away people's with the internet kill switch and just
Sure.
all of the different types of new mechanisms to keep us safe, to fight ISIS propaganda. They're instituting here. They've outlawed Bitcoin and virtual currencies in Russia. They have and not all the bullcrap you hear about, oh, they're killing the gays. That's all bullcrap. But what they are doing is they are clamping down on free speech, and they are instituting mandatory nationalism.
Yeah,
and
no doubt about it. Listen, I pulled up while you were talking there. I wanted to see because I was interested. You said talking about conscription, and I used to live in Germany, and that was I knew that at that time it was if you were male, you had to register, and you had. I mean, it wasn't like a long term deal.
No, it was just like a year or something. I think when I was
like
in the military.
Yeah. A year you had to go through. Kind of like the reserve would be here, right?
Exactly.
So I pulled it up. I wanted to see, and Russia is absolutely a nation that is under conscription. Germany no longer is. They're labeled as no enforced conscript. I can't say the word. No enforced draft. I'm going to call it that.
Yeah.
Mexico. Did you know Mexico was in a conscription nation? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Brazil.
Yeah, it's a popular thing.
Yeah. Chile. Bam. They are. Let's see. It would be sub-Sahara. So it would be what? Above Sahara. Africa is conscription, except for Libya, which is just, hell. And
who knows who runs Libya anymore? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. You can't draft.
You can't look in Hillary's emails, and which is the total cover-up, whitewash of everything that was going on at the Clinton Global Initiative.
Absolutely.
You had these two scandals. Ooh, she was using her own email server. I thought you were going
to say you have these two skanks.
Yeah, they are skanks. That's true.
Madagascar, no conscription. Go there.
Where are you at? Where are you looking at conscription.com?
I went to Wikipedia to see if they had a map. I'm a chart guy. I like it when it's a map and color coded type of deal. Korea's, both of them, conscription.
We saw, he died.
Yeah. Just evil. There is a 45 to 50% chance that is your next president.
No way.
Absolutely.
They'll bring you Al Gore or something.
It's almost too delicious to believe, my friend.
They'll bring Al Gore. If it isn't her, it probably is because it's been decided it's going to be a Republican. I don't think she'd run again and lose, though. I don't think I think that she's made her bones in the New World Order crowd. She's shown up to the Bilderbergers and got put in her place when Barack Obama was deemed as the next chief, the next commander.
I mean, they have to keep the facade of legitimacy alive, and I think that she's just one of these people that she just has too much dirt. She just has too much skin in the game, and to be honest, I mean, I don't see why she'd want to be other than just to feed her own ego. I mean,
seriously.
I mean, she wields such power and political influence. I mean, you get a lot more done at the State Department than you probably ever get done at.
Okay, well, that would assume that she gives a crap about getting crap done, and doesn't care more about her own legacy and legacy of the family. And if she really wanted to be about helping the people and getting things done, you're right. I mean, she could work with Habitat for Humanity with Jimmy Carter, but
come on,
it's about.
No, I don't mean like in a good way. I mean getting things done. As far as creating a new world order, hanging out with her BFF, Victoria Nuland. F the EU. F in the EU together, hand in hand. Her and all of her neocon buddies.
Those tramps.
Slut puppies. Squirters.
Oh, Dale, I'm a squirter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a squirter, Dale.
Who is that? What is that from?
Bad Bosses.
Oh, okay. So that was Jennifer Aniston or whatever.
Yeah, that is
Saying
Jennifer Aniston.
But it sounds just like we know who, right?
Who?
She can see Russia from her back door.
Oh, Sarah Palin. Oh, I got her somewhere here. Where's Palin? Nailin Palin. Where's she at? Yeah. I don't have it under Palin. I have it under something else.
Squirter?
Oh no, the
waterboarding is how we baptize terrorists.
Yay! All those people. And that's what's so scary is how many people cheered for her in the background.
Oh, lots. Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
As many people that cheered for Hillary when she saw he died.
Right.
Oh yeah. Doug Owen, I'm going to bed. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. I'm going to drive back to Seattle. I'm going to make Craig, producer 33 Craig, buy me breakfast.
Are you? That's what everybody does after an evening of. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not going to go there.
Well, hey, whoa! Do you have any thanks to give?
Yeah, Sara. She is our queen. Let's see. She donated. She probably felt so bad. Hold on. Hold that outro music there. She probably felt bad and listened to the cluster that was there. Good old Sara dropped $35 in the bucket so that we could figure out what was going on with the phone.
Sara in Lincoln. I have. Let's see, 3 days ago, I had sent out messages to my Lincoln customers, Sara, and I'm letting you know that I'll probably be down there in mid to late April.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm going to buy her and her husband a beer because they've been donators and contributors of Doomcast since from the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's those kind of people that just keep us going. And all of the great people that comment on your YouTube channel that I like to plug because it's fun to say Krabby Dog Tricks with an X.
Poor Trixie. Right now she's at home all alone waiting for me to return.
Oh, barking, driving your neighbors nuts.
Yeah.
I better stop.
I don't think she does that. You know what? I have a couch for her out in the garage. It's heated garage. Yeah, she's got a little couch.
Heated garage? What kind of... Yeah, I know where all your oil money's going now. I see what's going on.
Well, it is Montana. I mean, so it gets like 50 below zero. So, I have just a heat duct running into the garage to keep it, above freezing so the car don't freeze.
Wow.
And old Krabby Dog Trixie, she's out there chilling in the garage. And I have a little doggy door. She can run into the laundry room and drink some fresh water and eat some food. And my sister comes over there.
Do some laundry, hang out, watch some soap operas.
Yeah, I leave the TV on for her too. Is that weird? That ain't weird, is it?
No. I leave the radio on for my dog just to kind of give her, some background music, something to listen to.
I would think that they would appreciate that because if you were just sitting in a garage all day not hearing anything, that would suck.
That would be horrible. Yeah, they get to listen to System of a Down and other choice music from my Spotify account.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Trixie waits for the shale oil news to come on so she can cheer.
Oh, are we going to make money today? I hope somebody. Remember, Charlie. Okay, what goes down must come up.
I'm not invested other than through the building industry in the shale oil business, other than gasoline putting into our vehicles. So
that's it.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been doing this for 24 years, and I don't think that low price oil, high price oil, it's going to shift things, yes, but it's not going to end the building industry.
I don't either. But you know who always wins? The central bankers. Always.
Take us out, Owen.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to Doomcast number 81. We made it, okay? And we might be ornery, we might argue once in a while, but that's a good thing because if you can still be friends after that, it proves that there are bigger enemies.
I break up with you.
Don't break up with me, Charlie McGrath.
All right, I won't.
I'm a keeper. All right, guys. Thank you, Sara, once again for supporting the show exclusively. Please continue to do that at Doomcast.com. Until next week, everybody have a great day, evening, and take care.
Peace out, y'all.